Okay. It is 5:30, so let's call this meeting of the East Newton School District to order. Any recognitions this evening?
Yes.
Okay?
Yes, we can help you.
Sure. We are in Shannon's Trump Her Up suggestion, honor our packers for East Newton United, and there's a lot of them, and the big thing is we want to say thank you for everything you do, because it's all volunteer. I know you get paid a whole lot of money to do it, so this is the least we can do, and well, if whoever's here, we'll call you up, give you your award, and we'll take a picture real quick. Again, we want to say thank you to the kids. They get food they wouldn't have, and you all do that work and do a whole lot of work and send it home with them every week, every single weekend. So packing starts.
We do every Thursday, and they start at 9 o'clock in the morning. Actually, they start about probably 8:15, 8:30
Right.
with the unloading of food, because the process is a little, some people don't realize the process. We have Jerry Walker that goes every single week to Sam's Club to pick up the food items that we lack in donations. Then he brings them back to the church, and we have Ashley and Jerry and several of our volunteers that unload all of that food, get it set up, and then the regular crew, and there's usually about 11 to 12 of us, that every single Thursday they come in and they, for about 45 minutes, pack about 175 to 180 bags of food. And then we have different ones that will take those bags, or those tubs, and they deliver them to the high school, they deliver them to Triway, and they deliver them to Granby. And then we have another volunteer that every week, after those tubs are emptied, goes back around and picks up all those tubs and bring them back. So it's quite a process. It's not just a show up, pack them, and get it done. It's a process. There's inventory that has to be done and all that. And these guys, they do it every single week. They're there very rarely do we have, you guys miss, right? There's very few times. We do have 2 student groups that come in once a month. We have a Granby group, Patriot Ride, I believe is what they're called, that comes in once a month. And then we have Doug Group, his class, that comes in once a month. But these volunteers are still there to help assist those students as well. So they just do a lot, and I think sometimes they don't, it's not realized how much work, how much of their personal time, how much of their personal expense that they do for that. So that's kind of why we wanted to honor them.
Thank you very much.
Bob Billings, he's actually a volunteer from Neosho that comes over and helps with our group. So he does not have anyone in the district, he just likes helping.
Does he wear a red, white, and blue shirt?
Of course. And Kathy Birchfield, she's not here, but she serves on our board as well as a regular volunteer. And then as a reader, after we pack, she goes to Granby and reads with the students every week. Kara Chase, she's our bus driver that will bring over our student groups. She drives our student groups once a month, and if we have any extra groups, she always is really gracious about driving them. Gene Davison, a lot of you guys know him. He's our Granby guy. He takes all of our tubs from our pack to the Granby school almost every single week. And then Sister Amanda Donaldson, and there should be another sister in there.
Yep.
These 2 young ladies are from the Lutheran Church, not Lutheran, the LDS Church.
Latter-day Saints.
Thank you. And this group has been helping us probably for about 4 years now.
Yeah.
They rotate out every so often, but every time one of the young ladies comes in, they always come and help us. So these 2 young ladies have been helping us this term while they're here locally. Ashley Edgman, you want to come back and get yours? Yeah. And Ashley is the pastor of the church where we get to pack at. Their church is very gracious about allowing us to have a storage area. They let us come in all the time whenever we need. We're always calling and saying, we've got extra, can you please help us? So he's very gracious to help us there. Terry May is an older gentleman from Triway that has packed since day one, since the first day that we started packing. He is very rarely missed. He drives now from Triway to Granby. He has a wife at home that is very ill, but he takes his time out every single week to come up and help us pack. Beth Styron, she owned the tree house where we previously packed, and when she closed the tree house, she then joined our pack group. So she packs every week with us, and she's our volunteer that tries to Triway every week to get our tubs and bring them back up. Jerry Walker, he's our go-to guy. He's the guy that if I'm not there, he's the one that takes over. He's the one that does our run into Sam's Club. He picks up food here. He picks up tubs. He door greets at Granby. He's just he's the one that does it all.
Whatever we need.
He does it all. Erin Williams and Cherie Williams, they're a mother and son team. that, from a high school group, or I mean, a homeschool group that come over once a week. And sometimes if she has other homeschool students, they'll join us, but those two come over every week and help us. And Sharon Woodruff, she just recently retired, and we're so excited because she gets to help us now. So she comes and helps us each week as well. And then Granby First Church of God, we wanted to especially recognize them because they do allow us to have a space within their church. And we kind of have outgrown that space, so we've taken over another little area in their church, and they never complain. They're very always complacent with us and allow us to have that space. So without them, this would be a very challenging position for us to be in. So we just really want to thank them.
And again, as a district, we want to thank you all so very much. This is time out of your day, and you volunteer for our kids. And I know the kids would probably say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And we appreciate it very, very much because this is not an easy job. So we want to say thank you.
Let's give them a hand.
Well, you can stand over here so I'll take a picture real quick. We're going to make you famous
You're
here.
not a big fan in front, are you?
Yeah.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
for being here tonight. We
Thank you.
I get enough work every week anyway at the hospital.
No, I bet. Thank you all very much.
Okay, that was excellent. Let's approve the agenda.
Hey.
That's my
Your
dad.
second? Moved and seconded. Approve the agenda. All in favor, raise your right hand. 7-0. Thank you. Do we have any public comment?
Yes, we'll have two with the operations report.
Okay,
I'd like that moved up in the reports to first report so they can go to the ballgame.
fantastic. Okay, approval of consent agenda. Motion? Okay, second? It has been moved and seconded. All in favor, raise your right hand. 7-0. Okay. Program evaluations. We got technology coming up.
Hello? High technology.
Nice to see you.
They're called a lot worse. I'll take it. I think you guys have the evaluation. I'll hit some of the things that have changed since I started last year, and then be glad to answer any questions you might have. One of our priorities is always just our infrastructure, just how we are able to get technology into the hands and data to students. A big change was our connection. We switched from Mornet to Granby Telephone Company, and we had an increase in bandwidth from 50 megabytes to 500. So that's something that we're really excited about.
Is that through the fiber optics or?
Through fiber.
Okay.
Yeah, it comes into fiber at the high school.
Okay.
And our setup's the same right now. We're still just going in from radio, through radio to Granby to Triway. I've got a new firewall to go with that. Had to have a new firewall or it wouldn't handle it, what we had before. We were able to update a few servers. We've done that already this year. Just trying to stay ahead of the game on that, so we're never trying to replace a whole bunch at one time. And then just with our machines, operating system wise, we're trying to stay ahead as well. Everything we have now is Windows 10, or everything we get, we're putting Windows 10 on going forward. And then we've done some upgrades to Windows 10 from existing machines. If they have any kind of issue, we just go ahead and wipe it out, put Windows 10 on it. So those are new. We have a new email host. We switched. Mornet was no longer hosting email, so we had to figure out something else to do. So we were able to keep our same eastnewton.org, but it is through Google. It's Gmail. It doesn't say @Gmail, but it functions the same way. We are trialing some student email at the high school. That's something that comes with that. And with that, we're also trialing Classroom a little bit, and that'll be available. I don't think we'll have any issues with that. We have a new website host as well. We did that at about the semester. Same address, still eastnewton.org, but we've noticed just pretty good feedback, a lot faster. It's a lot easier to update, so that's been a good change. It's the same company that does our notification system, School Messenger, so we got kind of a bundled thing to help with the price of that. And we also got a custom app. If you haven't seen that, you just do a search in Android or iOS for East Newton. I think it's actually East Newton SD is what it comes up as, but been pretty pleased with that as well. This looks sharp, doesn't take a lot of maintenance, it is a different interface than the other, but it's so far pretty simple. Equipment, we have the rotation, we try to keep everything maintained on. Again, it's kind of servers, just so we don't run into an issue where we're having to do a whole bunch at one time. We went ahead a little bit earlier and we've replaced all the desktop machines. Pretty much all the desktop machines we have left aren't laptops, so like all the secretaries, there's some library machines, cafeteria machines, all of those were replaced since between spring and now.
Is there a laptop cheaper or more efficient? Just what do we get away from the PCs or and go to that?
Similar price, same,
Mobility.
yeah, now it used to be a little bit different quality, but now they're as good or better.
Okay.
But yeah, they can take them with them, they can, you're not stuck,
Okay.
easier to move around.
Mhm.
So that's the biggest change probably in function.
Okay.
Also, we made a connection to the field house and also to the press box. That's something that was new that was requested. A couple different people that we kind of talked about doing. We did get that completed. There's a short hop, like a bridge that goes over there, so we can connect in that area of the district now. On very many places that we couldn't connect. That was one that we didn't have any coverage, but we do now. I think for the most part that's it. We have a few things coming. We are working through an online payment system. Still trying to figure out some details with that, what we might be able to use, but that's coming probably between now and next year. Hope to have it full ready to go by next school year over the summer, so we can get it out there early. We'll finish some machine replacements. We will do some laptops probably this year. Won't be as many because we did a bunch last year and did the desktops this year. Maybe do a lab or two. And then also I've applied to get E-rate funding for a new wireless system. And that would just be very similar to what we have, just upgraded access points, and that's just pending approval. So if we get approval on that, that's a possibility. We don't have to do it, that's just something that we put out there, so we may do that. Working pretty good as it is, but again, just trying to make sure we stay ahead of it.
I'm gonna jump in, the online payment thing is a way for we'll start with, parents being able to pay for lunches, their students' lunches, online through a credit card. So
Will
that
there
way
be
we make it more convenient. and
Will there
then-
be a service charge for that?
Yeah, we'll have to, it'll be, I think, a 4%
Yeah, like
charge.
3.99.
So,
Yep.
I mean, it's not ideal, however, it does for convenience. I can say when back in the day when I paid for my children, the first couple times I was like, I don't wanna write, I'll just write a check and walk it in. About the fourth time I had to write a check, I was like, it's not so bad to just pay for it. So, I mean, that's what we'll start with, and then there's lots of options beyond that, but we'll start with, being able to pay meals online and pilot it and see how it goes. So, I want to thank Marty for picking it up. We've been talking about that for 6 months, and I dropped the ball and just called Marty and said, please do this. So he has done that and done a great job.
So I think that's pretty much probably change-wise what we've done. Do you have any questions?
Yes. Okay. You said that there was a few students that were piloting email addresses or whatever, trialing email addresses at the high school. How many students are doing that so far? Do you have any idea? I mean, is that an eastnewton.org email address powered by Google?
Yes.
About how many students do you think have started that?
I'm not sure. It's pretty much just a teacher, so her class
Okay.
load, whatever
What
that is.
teacher's using it?
Mrs. Johnson at the high school.
Mrs. Johnson? Okay, so she's using Google Classroom?
I think so. She has
Okay.
access to it. I don't-
Because, Google Classroom doesn't work if the kids don't have their own email address. You can't log on to it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm aware.
So is there plans to try to get that district-wide so that all students have email addresses, all students can use Google Classroom?
It'll be available for wherever it might make sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Without being
what-
one-to-one, it's not as.
Right, it's not as convenient, but
Yeah.
still, I mean, yeah. So do you, if new students check in, would they get an email address when they checked in?
It probably depend on the grade. I think we haven't talked all the way through that and how we would completely roll it out, but
Okay.
I would say we'll start at the top and go down. So probably either upper level classes or all of high school, and then go from there to probably junior high and then down if it was necessary.
We use it at McDonald County, K up, and I love it. Plus, when, the kids go to college, everything's online, so they have to be able to know how to submit their lessons online and all that. Also, then I see here that says the district wireless network has been installed, including a guest network. Is that still the same process where you had to like write a written request and then you got it for 24 hours and that's it?
Pretty much,
So no students are actually allowed on it?
right.
And do you ever plan on trying to change that so that we can open the Wi-Fi? So we don't,
I don't really see a reason to do that.
you don't see a reason to do that? Okay. All right. And E-rate, you said that you had applied for a grant on E-rate, and I had talked to a guy in Neosho who, I guess that's who funds a lot of their technology, and I know that, like, Diamond gets like almost $70,000 for it, and McDonald County gets $88,000, and it showed that we just get 7. Is that, because we had talked before, that the reason we couldn't do wireless for everybody was because of the infrastructure, and I'm under the impression that this helps pay for that, the E-rate?
It could help pay for access points and, yeah, like
Okay,
the,
so when you applied, did you apply for like a big thing when you applied?
Mhm.
Okay, and you had like,
We didn't get it?
it's pending.
It's
I don't know
pending.
yet.
Oh,
is it enough to like help us open the system up so people can actually get on or not?
I mean, anybody that wants to get on can get on. Anybody that we
But-
want to get on can get on.
Right, but like if I wanted to get on right now, I mean, I know we've talked about it at our board meeting, we wanted to get on and we were just looked at, no one gave us any, I mean, we weren't given any password or anything to get on.
Yeah, it'd be really simple. If you guys need to get on, they just have to let me know and we can get you on.
Okay, so, but it's still just 24 hours you're allowed on?
Well, it depends on the situation. We've had people who've been on for a whole semester. We've had people who are on for 12 hours or 2 weeks. It just depends on, usually what I do is I give it to whoever.
Who's in control of that? Is that your discretion?
I usually work with the principals, because usually it's a principal who's asking me, or if it's like somebody at the high school, not say, hey, Mr. Patterson, you know, usually it's like a vendor who comes in, or if it's that's usually what it is. I'll just get with them to see what they need and go from there.
Well, you know, if we had, an FFA had an event up here, and they needed to be on, and the guy that is in charge of it, I think area-wide, he said this is the only school he ever has trouble with.
Yeah, well, if you just let us know ahead of time, we could've got them on, it would've been no problem.
Yeah.
Or our teachers, obviously, if they would've said, hey, we need a guest access. We don't need we need like 5 minutes. It doesn't even take 5 minutes to create an account, so it's not an issue to create those.
Okay. Hey, I did some checking with different schools, because we always talk about how we're trying to stay current with the Big 8. And so I have all of the Big 8, all of the old Big 8 at least. I'm sorry, I've got something in my throat today. Anyway, I've got from 18 schools, 17 other schools including us, and we are the only school in this area that does not use Google. Of these schools that Google Classroom, that allow Google Classroom. And 2 of them use Canvas, which is very similar. And some of them have access to their staff, allow internet access to their staff, and some of them do not. But you said in here that we're looking to moving toward that. You just have one teacher right now using Google?
Right.
Okay. But you have that on the last page as it says spring 2019 to just evaluate. So,
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
okay. But you're hoping to, move in that direction?
Yeah.
Because I know there are several
Just-
teachers that want to use it.
Yeah, I mean,
And,
there are a few.
and they were not aware, I've talked to 2 or 3 that they were not aware that they were even allowing anyone to use it.
Yeah, and we don't usually let everyone know until we're ready to do it, and we're just like anything we implement that's new, we don't just wanna throw it out there and hope it works well. We wanna trial it, see if there are any bugs, see if there are any issues, or see if it works how we want it to, and addresses whatever need, and if it works well, then
Well,
Put it out there.
all of the Big 8 schools, they're evidently, they're all using the regular Big 8, so, and then some of them do allow access for students. But some of them they get their students as early as 3rd grade, when they get in 3rd grade, and then think Donald County's kindergarten.
they're probably one-to-one.
But they allow, them to have the email address.
If we were a one-to-one school and that's how we taught, and we had one-to-one devices everywhere, it would make a lot of sense, but we're not. So there's really no reason to do that. There's really no reason for a 3rd grader to have an email, just to have an email.
No, but yeah, in order to use
Well,
Google Classroom, they have to
Yeah,
have
just
it.
the Google Classroom,
Yeah.
if they're using that.
Yeah, because they don't,
And I don't know about the elementary, I'm not sure how many would use it, but I do think that the high
It's
school
very-
and middle school,
Yeah, I think we'll have some.
I know my grandchildren that go to Lamar, they get it in middle school. and that's how they turn all of their assignments in. So
And that's really
they came
more
to
of
my
a-
house and had to do it.
More of a, how we wanna teach and learn, as opposed to technology. The technology's there and we can do it, but if we don't learn that way, then there's no real
I
reason
just
to
don't
have
want
it.
our students as they go on to be lacking in technology from other schools.
And I don't think, I mean, I don't have that, I don't feel like that at all. I mean, I don't get that feedback from the administration or teachers or students that have gone on.
Just
I don't
having
think
Google
they have that
Classroom, does that
issue.
I mean, what is that implement that keeps our students behind, or by not?
Well, it's a
having-
way that they turn in their assignments. and
We've
their
had
assignments
Edmodo
are
though
always
for
there.
years, and it's the
Yeah,
exact
but
same
they
thing.
can't access that at home, at least my daughter never could.
Yeah, they can.
Okay.
It's
'Cause I knew
online.
she had to like, well, and then she had to like, she couldn't use her email address, and she would try to email herself stuff, and she couldn't use an email address at school, and
It isn't email based, it's a
Yeah.
way to do it
It is
without
a-
having to email.
it was when Edmodo wouldn't work, yeah.
It's email based.
Yeah, it is different.
So it's just a little different, but we've had something in place before this point. So it just
It
wasn't,
doesn't work the same at all.
so it's website based or something? is it?
Yeah, it's just a web-based, kind of classroom management type thing where you can do that, you can submit documents or assignments and get them back. Similar.
It's just like Apple,
Right, me too, yeah.
so.
Well, there are a lot of teachers I know that would like to use it at the high school.
And if you have an idea.
Yeah, we'll see. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's what the class is doing, piloting it to make sure, you know,
Yeah.
that's one of the things we've talked about, piloting, make sure it's ready to roll out. And as Marty said earlier, that's, you know, let's make sure we know what we're doing before we jump in both feet. And the challenge is, you know, as you all know, the challenge is that we have, we're not one-to-one, so every student doesn't have an electronic device, they can use their phones, but I don't think they wanna type a paper on their phone, it's not gonna work very well. But, so that kind of throws a wrench in it, that it can't work exactly the way it would at bigger schools that are one-to-one that have, or just smaller schools that are one-to-one, that have done that. And the challenge is getting the access for those kids to do it. And then the challenge, if we were one-to-one and they went home, do they have internet access at home? So there's, I mean, we've got a little bit of a, it's a challenge, it's not something we can't overcome, it's not something we wanna avoid, it's just, we're a little late to the game to get started, but we're getting there. So I mean, it's in motion.
Okay, any other questions?
Yeah, I'm gonna sound like I really know what I'm talking about here, but I grew up with 3 channels, and you don't have to ask the grandkids, can you turn the TV off for me?
I just went back to 3 channels.
Are you?
It's coming back around.
Fair enough, fair enough.
comes
You know,
back
you get on
around.
cable and there's 100 channels and there's 3 to watch, you know? So we were visiting, and I know this because we were visiting at lunch today at Crowder, and we were talking about the servers, you know, and all of our information is set on the server, correct? Or is it not, or,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm asking some questions here. So the question was out there that they were looking at putting a server into Davis Hall, which is a storm shelter building, which is really not rated for a tornado, but a small tornado. And so what if something, does that make sense? I mean, we were reading it and they were saying it only applies to certain projectiles hitting the building at less than 120 miles an hour for only so many minutes. And so, you know, if it was an F5 tornado like in Joplin, it wouldn't survive. And so their server is in there. And so then all of their information is on this server. So I'm asking, I mean, we're talking payroll information, you know, all that stuff would be gone, and it would be, you know, a month or two before they got that up and running. So are we in that situation? I mean, that's just my question.
Are we backed up somewhere?
Yeah, are we
Yeah,
back
we do have
backed
backups,
up,
especially
yeah.
financial
and
data.
not here?
And all of our user information, no, it is, it's in the FEMA building.
Oh, so it's in.
And I'll double check on that. We have different servers that do different things. They're not all out there. I think our financial one is. But I mean, whenever we did that, our goal or our desire would have been to put all the servers in there. Because we have a room in there that we do some storage and we have just an area.
Mhm.
But it wasn't real feasible to do that. Because
Right.
everything's pulled already to the network room there in the library.
Okay. Mhm.
So it would have been a huge undertaking to do that.
How much of it is backed up online, off, like
We don't-
the
In the cloud.
Suspend and
Cloud,
those?
yeah.
Cloud.
Every time I say the cloud.
Well, not the cloud, but on the
Marty,
assistant
don't be
servers
back up
and
your page.
those.
I store on the cloud.
Yes.
Sis K-12, or do
Are
they
we
back it up
backed
on
up on
the?
Sysfin?
I
At
hate to say
Sysfin?
100% because I don't want to tell you the wrong thing, but I can find out exactly how it's routed, exactly where everything is.
Most
Yeah,
of-
System
most-
back, every night we do a backup.
Every
of
night.
Right,
System.
so
Yeah.
Just a
Sysfin,
financial-
for our
Backup
financials
every
and everything.
over
That-
Marty,
Yeah.
where is that? I mean, I understand we back up, but where are we backing up to?
That is off-site, and I
Right.
don't know if it's in a bunker in Wisconsin or New Jersey or where, I'm not sure.
The way Sysfin works is it backs up at midnight every night. So if we have something happen the next day, we lose everything that happens the next day. So, and it backs up to the last backup. So, and it backs up every night. So anything, if we lost anything, it would only be the stuff we did that day. So that people would lose.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what we do with our user information
Right.
too. Almost all of our files are the same process he just described.
Okay.
If you had a tornado, that doesn't mean that's getting backed up to doesn't get taken out also, and that really is then a disaster recovery type situation where it would be a challenge. It always would be, I think.
Okay.
But that's a great question. It's something we can look into.
It's just, they brought up, and I never thought about it, you know, I mean, I was talking to some IT guy, so I'm like, I never
Yeah.
Stop talking, because you sounded really smart.
Stop right there, stop right
Something you
there.
don't want to think about or talk about, but it is something you need to plan for. And we have talked about it quite a bit, and we do have backups in place, which would help in a lot of situations.
Okay.
Mostly, the thing we're most aware of is just equipment failure. If you have a server go down, you don't want everything to go down with it.
No,
That
right.
didn't take a tornado, that just takes tomorrow it could happen.
Right, exactly, right.
So.
You know, we pray not,
Yeah,
but it could.
Yeah.
I mean,
it has.
yeah, see, that's it, exactly.
It happens.
So,
I have one more question. Under the student performance, and you have need to increase technology-related class offerings and the online learning environment, do you have classes in mind? Is there something?
I think that came up in discussion like coding, those kind of things.
Oh.
And we've done a little bit of that,
Yes.
like Mrs. Hanson's done it. I think some of the elementary students have kind of done that.
Yes.
So I think we just, I think, had a little bit of talk about that, kind of growing that all the way through. So where, we might have some of those type of classes offered even all the way up to high school, but
Okay.
that's what that was.
Okay.
Anybody else?
one more question. Just our policy on our security that we're talking about, not the security of backup, but the security of people getting on.
Yeah.
Do we have policy on that? I mean, where's our policy?
It's not a written
Procedure.
policy, it's just a practice.
It's a practice,
Procedure,
right.
and
Okay.
practice.
We don't really want, we can let anyone on, but there's no real reason to do that. Every device that gets on our
I'm not
network,
disagreeing.
Yeah,
I
I'm
just
just
wondered
explain.
what we were doing.
the thought process is everybody that gets on is a security threat.
Mhm.
Mr. Campbell for years, now
Right.
Mr. Comer, even as much or more, doesn't want people on our network that don't belong there, that don't have a specific reason to be on there. Because if they're on there, especially for no educational reason, they're a threat to this network.
Mhm.
And if they have the password, that means they can put any device on there they want. And we have no control over those devices. We don't know what's on them, if they're protected properly, if they have a virus on them, or if it's a hacker. Once it's out there, it's out there. We can't get that back. Or we have to do a lot of work to protect it again.
And one of the things about it is the way our network is set up, if we did get a virus, and it would spread rapidly throughout any
Could.
computer that it could.
Yeah.
They could write it to where any computer that's turned on at the high school, since it's wireless, could get the virus. So what that would mean is we'd have to shut down all computers, and Adam and Marty and whoever we could enlist would have to go to touch every single computer and make sure there's no virus on it. And we have over 200 computers, and we wouldn't be able to turn on computers until we got them all done. So that's part of it as well. That's a lot of man.
And I've
It
kind
can
of
be
done at
done.
another job I was at, and a lot of schools, they do. They chase viruses and they chase issues that we don't have to chase because they're not as secure as we are.
So you said the way we're wired is what causes that? Because I'm thinking McDonald County, anybody that, everybody's on their phones, they're on
Right.
everything, and we don't have that problem. So it's a different
You
way they're
probably have
wired.
that problem. It's just
We don't ever hear about it,
Right.
for 4 years.
So-
Right. So is it the way we're wired, or what
It-
you said,
Well,
what's the
no,
difference?
not really. That could happen anywhere. Anywhere that's not, there's no difference. If you have an open network like that, you'll have a lot more problems than if you don't. And I'm sure that you do.
Just as many, it's just who you're letting on.
I can just tell you my experience at Missouri Southern,
Mm-hmm.
and they've got
'Cause it, yeah, they,
19 people in the IT department,
mhm.
and it's not even an open network. But all the kids there have it, and all the students that are attending, and they fight a virus. They have 3 people who do nothing but write code for viruses. That's all they do. And in my years there were 3 different days where we lost everything, and whatever we did the day before, and if we lost it all and had to start over. So then they had to, and they were strong enough to where they could write the code, and they eliminate it on your computer from their home office, we don't have the capability, so that,
Right.
I mean,
But
are we
there's-
being a little bit overprotective? Probably.
But if we had
Right.
trouble here, you microwave it to Triway and Granby, so it's gonna knock everybody out.
I mean, it's possible, anything that touches, anything that's touching each other is.
So the question is, are we protective? Yes. Are we overprotective? Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, probably.
I just feel like
I'm
we're
not
I mean,
gonna, not
I
say
just
we're
feel
not.
like we're-
If they
we're
just
being
let 'em
accountable,
know,
but we're not
right.
providing our
Get on
kids
it,
with what they
so.
should have.
But none of that has anything to do with education.
But they
We
can-
allow
they can
everybody,
go
we allow everyone on that needs on, and we'll
But
allow
they can- they
any
can
guest
get on
on
their
that needs
tablets,
on,
too.
as long as we know.
If the school tablets are
The
not on,
school stuff, but nothing, I mean, yeah, nothing else.
Appreciate it. We used to have a problem with the service out in Triway. How, is that better now then, or how's that?
Yeah, as far as
Oh.
just in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been better for,
Okay.
about, and I can't, I mean, about the time I got here, we had equipment upgrade, and we've done it again since then.
Okay.
I know.
it's going down tomorrow
If it rained, when I first got here, everybody got really nervous. If it rained or anything, like, man, I hope Triway's okay. But honestly, it has been for years that
Okay.
it's been really stable as far as the connection goes. I can't say it's 100% as fast,
You're right, yeah.
all of that maybe not,
But
but it's been very
it's
stable.
getting stable, okay.
Okay.
Thank you,
All
Mark.
right, Marty, thanks. Real important subject. Thanks for giving us an update. Okay, we are under reports
Now we
and,
need a motion to approve.
oh, sorry, motion to approve.
So moved.
Second? He's been moved and seconded. All in favor, raise your right hand. Thank you. Motion passes 7-0. Let's go to reports now. Rusty, if you would start off under the operations report, we'll take care of that one first, please.
We'll talk to you about the baseball, softball field. We have some parents and concerns about it not being able to use the baseball, softball field being, due to it being wet. And we've had that issue probably since it's been built. In the past, we have got an engineer company come in and look, see what we need to do. They recommended a fix that was gonna be about $50,000. At that time, we decided, and they couldn't guarantee that it was gonna fix it. We decided we would continue to do the best we could with what we have. It's not always the best, but we tried. I don't remember how many years ago, we started working with the city of Granby, and when we couldn't use the field here, we'd go there, if it worked out. Last September, Derek Sarton, a local contractor, came to me and said, hey, I'll volunteer my labor, my time, whenever softball season's over, we'll clear out those trees back there and I'll dig up some clay, we'll take the topsoil off the baseball field, we'll build it up and try to make it better. Well, this fall and winter has been wet, he has been out there, he has tried, he has broken things on his thing, he's put more effort and money into things that he didn't have to do. He did try. I want to make sure everybody understands that he has put out great effort out. And he says he will come back this summer and finish it. We have some parents that want to purchase some field material to help do that. And I think that's great. We want their help. I talked to the gentleman, Kevin Baker. He's the owner of Baker Material Supplies. He come out today to the field and looked at it. Asked him if it was his own field, what would he do? He said, well, we need to build it up first. So, and that's our plan, to try to build up this summer, to build it up. And he said it's not something that's gonna happen overnight. It's gonna take some time. You gotta build it up, and then we can add, and he's got a material, and I think that there's several people that sell this type of material. It's like a conditioner or whatnot. And it's probably something that should have been done on this field, or been doing as part of the management of it as we've gone. We haven't. Of course, I can understand why after seeing the price of it. It's not cheap. Dr. Mitchell has said that we'll be able to do that this summer once we get it built up. We can bring that in there, and we'd love to have the parent support, or the volunteers that want to come out and help with the labor, and to bring their equipment, and also help bringing it down, hauling it down. We'd love to do that. We want to use our field this year. I think we'll be able to get some games in. I can't promise anything. Joe's come to us, said we're good to use the Granby field if we need to, and that's what we're gonna try to do. I know somebody asked for some options. Options, me thinking, is we let Derek come back this summer and build the field back up. We put that material down. If we can get the help of the parents to put that other material down, I think that'd be good. Another option is if we think that that's not gonna work and we'd have to run a bond issue to do something, to do something bigger than that. I think that we don't have that type of money to do that, so that's why I would take a bond issue. The other thing is work with the city of Granby, if we don't think we can use that field and turn that field into a practice field and set up some agreement where we're playing all of our games at Granby, baseball and softball. So those are the options. I'd like to try to make this work, and I think that's what this year, I think we can do that. And then see what we can do this summer. I think Derek get that, I know Derek will get that done this summer.
Is it not just too swampy out there? Isn't that the problem? Everything just keeps sinking no
Oh, it-
matter what they haul in?
I would say you're probably right. I mean, because you don't see it running off.
Is there not any way we could move it up like toward the highway?
Toward the highway. Of course,
Yes.
if you're right behind this building, you have septic tanks and other things. And I think it's the same ground, to be honest with you. I really don't think you're changing your venue much.
If you build it up high enough, water will go around it. That's
And
the
how
plan.
high are we talking about adding to? I mean, how much are we?
There's a lip on it right now, and what me and Derek was talking about it in September, he was gonna take the clay, take the topsoil off, or the baseball dirt off of it, and then build that up to the, right above the rim, the lip, and then put that topsoil back on there, so.
But have we not been trying to do that for years?
Build it up, they bring in the dirt, or that dirt every year,
That's what I
to,
thought.
yeah.
And it just always keeps sinking.
Yeah.
No, but that's not
That's
clay.
That's not the clay that Derek's gonna be getting out of he's gonna get limestone, that's why he's playing.
Yeah.
That's why you get confused with the two different types of clay. What's on that field is a Oklahoma red dirt clay. What Derek will be getting is the clay that you use to put foundations or, yeah,
So
for
we're looking
houses
at
or,
building up 4 to 5 inches?
yeah.
6?
6 inches.
Okay. It's a lot of field.
We're gonna,
Yeah, but he's gonna get it from right over there, yeah.
are we, to be fair to our girls, are we ever gonna have a girls' field and a boys' field so that we're not,
Where will you put it?
there's not enough room to move this direction?
That goes back to
Back to
the
the
middle
same thing.
solution, which is bond issue. To do that, it would take, and do it right, to where it's all drainage and everything, hundreds of thousands of dollars to do it right.
Well, I just think we need
I
to
mean,
be fair to our kids.
I don't disagree, I don't disagree with you, I'm just saying that, the money is the factor. That's the factor, is the money,
Wait,
how to afford it.
why are we considering this baseball and not both? I mean, why are we segregating?
We
Yeah,
are.
that's what I'm saying.
We are. We aren't.
No, right, right.
We have softball, we're,
Oh,
But
I
if
understand,
you're-
but
if
why are we
you're-
making a softball field? Why are you
That's,
thinking
that's
about?
where they play. They play
no, to
on
have a
baseball
softball
field.
and a
Two
baseball.
separate
field.
Why do we need 2 fields?
Because the regulations are different for girls and boys.
Can we just move the bases in and the fence in?
Well, there's a
We
lot.
do.
there's a
That's
lot.
what we're doing right
So,
now.
yeah, I understand that though.
I have some knowledge about that. I'd like to interject real quick. Can I?
Now, let's just wait a minute, not now, let's finish this. Okay? All right, Rusty, anything else?
No.
Any other comments for Rusty? Okay, I believe we have some public comments.
Mr. Brashears has a minute.
I brought this situation up because I have a love for baseball. I've watched a lot of those kids that are playing baseball for several years consecutively. I'm also familiar with the field down there. I know it's been a problem for years. There's ways to fix it. Any amount of money you could imagine, you could dump into it if you wanted to. But I've also lived on that kind of soil all my life. I'm 100% confident if you go to digging in that soil, you're gonna bring more water up than you get rid of. I'm confident of that. My suggestion originally was to fix the low spots that are out there now with lime rock chat, and that way it would have a base underneath it, and then get a single semi-load. I was gonna try to raise the money to get this semi-load. I can't see that.
10 seconds.
Okay, to get the semi-load, it was gonna cost about $2,000. Believe it could be done. To do it right, you'd need $5,000, I
Time.
believe.
Sorry about that, that's where we are. Okay, next.
Mr. Anderson?
Pretty much what he's saying. There's a group of probably 10 parents so far that I've talked to. I know there's more softball parents that I haven't talked to. Would like to donate money, time, equipment to get it fixed nice. And the thing about softball and baseball, you go to any other school, the baseball field has grass in it. You can't have grass because girls have.
Yeah, sure.
To at
And
least
I-
make it presentable. Can I take the rest of my time? I'm done. No, but we would like to donate. There's a group of people that wanna help do it. We got skid steers, dump trucks, semis. We can go get the crushed red brick, whatever it takes.
It's not an effort to attack the school.
No,
It's
no,
an
we
effort
don't
to
feel
help
that at all.
No,
No, we don't
And I
feel that at
feel
all.
like, I feel like there's a lot of defensiveness whenever some
Right.
parent brings something up here. And I understand why that is, cause the world we live in, you do have to defend yourself a lot. It's not the case. All I want's a baseball field, whatever we gotta do.
And
No, we're listening.
yeah, that's what I want, as the superintendent, we agree with you. We're just trying to, you know, without indicting anybody or anything, it needs to be fixed. Let's not look at the past, what could have been done, what can we do now? So what can we do now and not assign blame to anything? And we agree with you
But, I
that
mean-
we'd love to have it here and
We
we just
just
wanna
need to
figure
come
out
up
the
with a
best way to
plan.
do it.
Well, and all we
Well,
need
if
is
you guys will come
permission.
up with a plan
If
and
you
get
give
all
us
the
permission,
permission,
we will take care of getting it here.
I mean,
Okay.
At least to solve the problem.
Well,
Put
what I,
it in
what I
the
don't want, what I don't want you all to do, and this is just me personally, I'm not speaking for anybody, I just don't want you all to put all that time in there and it not work as well as we want it to, and then have to come back and we destroy everything you do to try and fix it. That's my biggest concern, if you understand. I don't want you to, I don't want.
can't begin to guarantee it.
Right, I mean, but I just don't want you
Just
all
wanna
to
try.
invest money in it and spend a whole bunch of time in it, and then, you know, 6 months from now, we tear it all up and start over. That's what I don't want. Do you
As long
understand what
as
I
the
mean?
end result is a baseball field, I
Right.
think everybody's happy.
Okay.
But I would like to get this season.
Right.
But can we
Okay.
take the time and effort that they're willing to help? I mean, can you wait until Derek starts his process and then,
He's the one that wanted for this.
I know they're wanting it now.
How's that gonna happen before this season? I mean, that's
What
another-
what I'm suggesting could happen in a Saturday afternoon with enough help. I've got a truck myself, I can bring in the lime rock chat, we can fill the mud holes. If we can get the clay on its way here, I've got a truck driver that said he'll get it for $485, bring it to us. The load cost, in total, would cost $2,020-some.
So it's just right now, it's just a patch job to build a.
It would
get us
be
through
a
this
patch
year.
job, but it would be a 28 square yard load of clay aggregate, which is what we need on the field anyway.
That
And that's
material
quite a little bit of,
can still go back into your clay.
it would
So
still
you
be
won't
there.
lose it.
Yeah,
Right.
when Derek
Derek
comes and
can
does
still
his
use it.
thing, he can move it, do what he's gonna do and then read.
Great, okay.
Okay, good
That-
deal.
that
Well,
helps. That helps.
That
Thank
makes, at least we got an idea, so thank
We
you
do.
very much.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Like
Thank you,
that.
guys.
Y'all
Thanks,
made a good hire on the baseball coach too.
Good, thank you.
Okay, Rusty, any other things under operations?
Yes.
Right.
Update on the inverter to high school runner was got it on, or got it, not, back up, not on, they got it up. We were waiting on contractor Kansas City to come down, he's coming down next week to help make sure everything is,
And how long has that taken? What is that process time-wise involved?
what has it involved,
How long has it taken?
it's taken a while,
Yeah,
yeah, longer than I like,
yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, I know, and that's the way it is. Okay, Rusty, thank you. Superintendent report.
Current enrollment's at 1291. This time last year, we were at 1304, so we're not devastated, we're down a little bit, so we're not horribly. Current, we had January was a tough month for flu, about 90%, 90.8%. Our overall for the year is 94.1, which is about 0.1%. We were 94.22 at this time last year. So we're not devastated. It's, sounds strange, but we're staying pretty steady. And,
How low do we have to get to cancel school?
oh, we would be, anything below 85% is, I'd be calling y'all and saying we probably need to stay home for a couple of days until we get more healthy. The magic number is 80. If you get below 80, you're actually losing money. 85 to 80 is iffy, because if we had 85 the day before, it could drop to 82. So that's I think the magic number I would work with is
Got hit hard last week, didn't they?
yeah.
My kids were both out.
Yeah, so current, we're not there. I've been asking the principals to give me daily updates. I think the lowest we've had is 89. and it fluctuates during the day. So we're not devastated. It's been rough, but we're pretty consistent where we were last year, so. Financial and cash flow, we currently have $3.5 million, or at the end of February, we had $3.5 million in our cash flow, so we're solid right there, we're in pretty good shape. Right here. We are a deficit in Fund 4, but we've been funneling more money into there, and we'll be out of that. You know, we spent more money than I put in there, basically, so we'll put the rest, we'll get into the positive numbers here pretty quick, this month, actually. Expenditures, if you look at our expenditures for February, we're a little over $1 million. We deficit spent $90,000 this year. Last year at this point, if we look at our surplus at this point last year was about $1.4 million. Just under $1.4 million. We're at $1.844 million surplus right now, which, remember, we deficit spend the rest of the way. Each month we deficit spend, but we are about $445,000 ahead of where we were last year at this point. So we are moving along well. Currently, revenue and expenditures, compared to last year, our revenue is up $77,000, and we just got the state fully funded us starting this month. So last month was $62.85, this month is $63.08 on our state adequacy target, so.
Will they retro?
We will get all the funding for the entire year starting this month. So for the rest of the time, we'll make up all that fully funded, we'll get it all. Yeah, so, and our expenditures are down $180,000 from last year. So, our surplus is up, right where we thought we would be, we're in good shape. Let's see here. Labor cost comparisons, teachers fund, we have saved $219,000 in our general fund, which is our Fund 1. That's $46,000 for about $266,000 in savings in salaries from those moves we made last year. Other cost centers, this is always a little bit scary. We've already spent the $150,000. We won't spend any more. I tell you that every month. But last year at this point, we'd only spent $117, and we only spent a total of $135 last year at all. So when we get to last month, that'll say $150. That'll say $135. Transportation supplies, we're about 58. I made an adjustment there on the budget to 60,000. It had been at 50,000. I made an adjustment because we're over, but I moved that from fuel over there because we're not going to spend our entire fuel budget. So that's why it's there. It's a little bit that way. Transportation fuel, it looks like it's all full. It's not good. We've spent 53,000 this year compared to 37,000 last year, but we'll be all right. We won't deficit spend there.
Was that fuel prices?
Fuel prices.
Okay.
It's all fuel prices. So that's one of those ones that I always, when I budget, I always budget that pretty darn high, higher than, I go with the highest year we've ever spent, is what I go with, and we don't usually get there every year.
Underneath transportation supplies, is that the repair and maintenance, is that where most of that is coming from?
Yeah.
Okay.
Transportation labor, even with the step raises we gave last year, it's right where, almost exactly where it was last year, so. It's 2%, 2.5% lower than it was last year, so we figured that would be that way. Because we with the step raises and the changes we made, we've saved enough money to where it didn't go up, does that make sense? It should have gone up there, because we didn't replace anybody, we did.
4 days ago.
Right.
Where's that?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
Well, we were 4-day last week.
Oh, we were, yeah, that's.
And remember that, this is right where we were when we saved about $60,000 last year, and we're on that same pace to save about the same, from 2 years ago, about $60,000. Utilities, we're right where we should be. Again, we went off the E-rate, so the telephone is much, much more expensive, but it's built into the budget, so we're not gonna go over budget there.
Electric's up.
A little bit. No, it's down.
No, it's down, I'm
It's down,
sorry.
yeah, it's down. Sorry, it's down. Yep. That is it. That is the financial report. Any questions?
Question?
Well, I wasn't done on the baseball softball field.
I'm sorry.
You didn't ask.
I'm sorry.
But I wasn't done with that because we didn't discuss it. Are we discussing that later or are we do it now? I mean, what was,
We wait.
okay. All right, fine.
Feel better now?
Not really.
Curriculum report.
What's the thing about baseball and softball?
Right?
Let's focus. Sorry. Fifth and sixth grade, been talking to fifth and sixth grade teachers on both campuses, trying to look at getting some additional items to supplement their instruction and also provide feedback on mastery of standards. This is basically what we have with Study Island, but I think I've found something that's probably a little bit better for them to use. So I've got them kind of piloting that right now, and that will be for math, ELA, and science. And I've got title money right now for that, so that's not gonna be, you know, anything that's gonna cost us any extra money from somewhere, so.
What is it?
It's
Sorry.
called, it's called usatestprep.com. And if you guys wanna get on there, you can do a free trial yourself, if you actually even want to do it at school. But, you can do assignments, you can give benchmark testing, it's all aligned to our Missouri standards.
Oh, cool.
So, and you can create a test based on specific standards. Once it's benchmarked, I can pull up my entire class and I can see which standard I need to focus on more because it will.
It'll pinpoint it,
Exactly. So I think that'll really help.
and it's free?
Well,
Okay,
it's
you're
a free
right.
trial.
It's a free trial, gotcha.
Yeah.
So how
Gotcha.
much will it be if we decide to purchase that?
For fifth and sixth grade, for a single year, it is $375 per subject.
Oh,
per-
not bad.
Per student or per subject?
Per subject, per campus.
Okay.
That's cheap.
That's really
It's not
good.
bad.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's cheaper than Study Island, isn't it?
Very much so, yes.
Yes,
Well,
yes.
So Study Island's.
You also have to remember, I'm paying for Study Island for a
Everybody.
large number of people, so I mean, this is just a snapshot, so it's a little cheaper.
Okay.
And the idea is to pilot it and see how it works and see maybe if it works better than Study Island, then
Yeah.
refocus on that.
Along with
Starting
that,
now.
I'm already getting it for the high school, for, where is it? Science, physical science, biology, government, ELA 10, and AP language and comm. So those are the ones that I can get for them, and I've already had them look at it.